Here are some common examples with which we're all familiar. Young man drops out of high school to take a job, to buy a car, to impress the girls. That's the expedient thing to do. And the long-term price is a lifetime of low wages and frustrating work. This is called short-term gain for long-term pain. A second example, which we see all the time, is unions. They strike for higher than market wages at the long-term price of permanently crippling the industry and causing permanent unemployment for their members. A perfect example is Chrysler Corporation, which almost went bankrupt because of outsized wage settlements in previous years. A third example, which we see, is government employees increase their budgets and staff to inflate their salaries at the long-term price of huge government deficits, inflation, and economic recession. I'm convinced that most of our economic problems in society come from expecting people in government to act in our best interest when they're put into office. When the entire governmental system says that the bigger your area of responsibility, the higher your budget, the greater the number of staff you have, the more you get paid. So when push comes to shove, the government servant, by basic human nature, will opt to increase the size of his department in order to increase the size of his rewards. Fourth example, people quit jobs to live off unemployment insurance at the long-term price of diminished self-respect and lower lifetime earnings. Another example, which you see all the time, is criminals. They engage in robberies, burglaries, and theft to get immediate funds at the price of a ruined life in society. A sixth example is people do only what they have to do to earn a paycheck, then spend their time socializing and watching television at the long-term price of failure in life. And the seventh example is men and women everywhere do what is fun and easy rather than what is hard and necessary at the long-term price of never fulfilling their unique potentials. The pull of the E factor is very strong. It causes the vast majority of men and women to indulge themselves at whim, to ignore the secondary long-term consequences of their actions, and by refusing to delay gratification, to engage in short-term pain for long-term gain, they condemn themselves to lives of frustration and disappointment. The E factor explains most failure in adult life. Only those rare few men and women, less than 5% in each generation, who consciously master themselves and resist the gravitational pull of the E factor ever really succeed in the long term.